abreast of what's going on.
We are bobbleheads.
One at a time. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Then we're down to number 8. And I have a motion to enter into a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21, Official Meetings Law for the Public Section 21.5, parentheses C, closed session to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the government body in this litigation.
So moved.
Motion. Anything you need to say before I?
No, I was to say, for the benefit of the public, I honestly think I can do this in 10 minutes. So my goal is to get you back here by 7:15.
Second.
Who did I have the motion? Holland motion, second by.
Well, that's sufficient then, right?
They pay us to have
That's
a
all
meeting
right.
on there.
And to our general fund.
There we go.
Really, you were really gonna go
We
this
fly
way?
the
Didn't you know it was snow?
You good? Okay.
You should listen to what
Okay, we are back into open public meeting. The next thing on our agenda is reports. Number 10 is with council members. Let's start with Mr. Holland.
Well, fine. You and I had already talked earlier, Mayor, about some letters or some appreciations with respect to this past weekend's city manager selection process. I definitely want to publicly identify Tricia Beatty for her gracious assistance during the city manager search, as she was the tour guide when we took the candidates around town. And also thank you to ABCM for their assistance in lending us the bus, and Bob. Sorry, I don't know his last name, but it was a very nice deal. It worked out very nice, and I think the candidates enjoyed it. Very good. The May 15th has been identified as the bike rodeo. What I'm going to ask is, if it's possible, if I even need to ask this question, I've already talked with Chief Miller, if the bike safety panel and the bike rodeo panel can get access to the confiscated bikes like we did last year, to pull out any of those that might be serviceable, to get them into that service mode. I believe we'll probably still have the assistance of Hardware Hanks, et cetera. Just if we need to worry about a problem. We did this last time. I think we had a motion on it the last year, but it went.
I think we just let it.
Just,
yeah.
Chief has no problem with it, and a subsequent follow-up to that is RAGBRAI committee may be coming after some of the ones that aren't serviceable, just simply for painting and displays and all kinds of things that might be coming on a little bit later. So we might be able to help dig out and finally eliminate a good number of those bikes. SMART, Economic Development Conference, May 1. Are we going? We've had I keep getting the advertisements. I've been to one or two, and I was just curious if we are going to go to that event.
Our new
May 1st. In fact, Bob asked the question about a month ago as well, and I don't recall ever seeing an answer.
You're
not there anymore.
Not going to that. And Mike hasn't even started yet. In fact, he and I need to discuss this because he hasn't even talked to Nate yet. But we haven't really got anybody in line to do that, so I'm not aware of anybody
but council members
attending.
is what I'm talking about. Because council members can go to this. It's a good thing to go down there and spend the day, drive down, do it, and then come back. You don't necessarily have to spend the night.
Do you register yourself? Or is this something
No, we've done it through the city before.
Are you the only one interested in going?
I don't know.
When was it?
May 1.
May?
May 1st.
May 1.
Thursday.
That one.
Is there anybody else? I would suggest if anybody is that you get a hold of Barb and work with her to see about getting that
Okay, so
taken care of.
Thursday. So, alrighty. And then the last thing I have is, how far are we on our Amnesty Day?
I happen to have that on my list.
Very good. And I'll finish. I'm done.
Okay, Mr. Reyes.
I will talk to Nate tomorrow.
Okay.
I have one thing I want to talk about, and I understand that people on the minority side of a vote can't ask for a revote, but I would like to just I'd like to talk just briefly about this ash borer thing. I felt like we kind of got rushed through that, and in looking at some other articles, in fact, the Iowa Farm Bureau had a very good one. It appears to me like we're delaying the inevitable. That Kittleson even said that. And what bothered me about it is after our meeting, it was brought to my attention that just previous to that, the week previous, at the department head meeting, they talked about this, and that the Parks and Recs people have identified all the ash trees in the Parks and Rec system. So we'd basically be paying $7,800 to him, to Kittleson, just to identify a lot of what we already know. The other thing is, if you read this stuff, there's, you know, just to identify him, that's all we get from him is identification.
Yeah.
You talk to people, and people aren't gonna spend the money to fix them. I'm just wondering what value we get for $7,800 just to identify them. Because and I have this article from the Iowa Farm Bureau spokesman, most cities seem to be just cutting them down. People take them for firewood. I'd rather see us at least think about using that $7,800 to replace trees or something else. I just don't see the value of identifying them. And I guess I don't know whether I ask for further conversation. I know I can't ask for a vote because I was in the minority. But, you know, if we read this stuff and if we really understand that you can't stop this, we're not going to change the life cycle of the ash trees by just spending the money to identify them. I guess that's what I'd like for people to think about. I understand that he's looking for a grant and that our money is on hold right now, but